Namaste, beloveds. This is Valerie Ames, also known as Motherwood Wisdom. And this is a video that's going to be dealing with um, reckoning and redemption as far as my own journey, so to speak. Um, Lately, um, I'm in a program that's training me to be a um, life coach, what I call a spiritual life coach, because my practice is going to be spiritual. So for me, it'll be a spiritual life coaching practice. And those will be the services that I'll be offering. Um, and what's been coming through is that I have been on this journey for at least 20 years, 15, 20 years at the most. And that is just um, the time that I've been in Wisconsin, and that I've been much more present with my existence as a spiritual journey and being able to identify and ground more in the spiritual identity than in the incarnated body, so to speak, and reconciling and dealing with the memories and remembrances of previous and past lifetime incarnations and everything that has accumulated into this incarnation here. And so this is what I'm getting ready to address. Um, and it's been a hell of a journey. It really has been. And one of the um, things that is coming forward for me now, more so than ever, is the process of identification and validation and the expansion of the conscious awareness of those things within the observable journey. And so let me just keep going, beloveds. Um, the last video I shared uh, was an actual interview that I had, um, interview session that I had participated in. It's in one of the coaching classes where um, those who are seeking to become um, life coaches exchange sessions with each other. And so I was on the receiving end of that particular session, and um, we're scheduling where I will be on the giving end the next time around. But this time around, really, it helped me to open some doors um, and go within those doors and those spaces and understand each and every one of them, um, and to be able to observe the corners or shadows of those rooms, so to speak, and within my temple that um, previously I had known existed, but I had not fully entered or owned them. And that is what is coming up. Um, what came up in that video was the feeling of pregnancy, for overdue pregnancy. And what came to mind, what I've been carrying with me, and what has been with me on this journey the whole time is the elephant. And the elephant has a much longer, she goes through her pregnancy way longer than 9 months. And so I've realized that all the times that I've stopped and started becoming a life coach, or doing this particular service that I was born to do, that I incarnated to do, that I've been doing all my all my life, all my existence, even as a child, giving out information, giving out intuitive readings, so to speak, having people come to me and just tell me their stories to get um, insight or to just share with me because there was something about my spirit that called them to me. And so, understanding all of this from the perspective of, from the eyes of that baby girl that used to be me, and who said and saw and told and talked about all of this stuff and was told to basically shut up, basically be quiet, because nobody understood that stuff, because no, they would put me in the crazy house because I would be crazy. They would pick on me, this and this and this and that. So just don't talk about that stuff. Don't talk about it. And so that stuff, that spiritual realm, has always been very real to me. It has been the truth for me, always. And I was looking back, I'm able to see that I was taught by many, in many different ways, to quiet that, to be ashamed of it, to hide it, to not listen to it, to think it was demonic, to just deny this side of myself, this portion of myself, this inner version of myself that to me was the absolute truth. Um, and to understand the conditioning and the responses of my parents and just good friends, and understanding the whole weird thing and the whole introverted thing and the whole I'm different thing. It's simply because I um, identify with the unseen inner world more than I do with the seen manifested world. The seen manifested world to me is the lie, is the untruth. With all the war, the violence, the rape, the suffering, the starving, just the demonic forces of push and pull, bait and trap. You know, it's that has never been real to me. That's always felt wrong. And no matter how I've tried to insert or to exist or be in that world, it's always wrong for me. And I can't. And that is where the suffering even more comes in, because there's no one who has taught me that, Valerie, I'll put it in simple terms, you're not from this world. You're to the Jehovah's Witnesses says this is the worldly world. Okay, and I'm part of a spiritual world, more in tune with the spiritual world. Not to say that I don't go through my trials and tribulations and ups and downs. That's what incarnation upon the earth plane is all about. No one can escape those things. Um, it's about mastering it from your spiritual mind, body, temple, house, heart, eyes, then adjusting to what your physical eyes take in, receive. what's transmitted from everyone else, the frequencies, the spectrums, the vibrations of good and evil, and understanding that those are just aspects, and existence is saying identify existence in all things, beyond programming, beyond conditioning, beyond beliefs, beyond lies, beyond truth. Be able to know this is wisdom. And so this has been my journey. And like I said, it's just now becoming much more concrete and much more expansive for me to look within it and to recognize what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing the different stages in my life where I let certain things go, certain spiritual things go, in order to blend into this world, in order to fit into this world, in order to live, in order to exist into this world. And when things went to hell, in order to function in this world and to hold all this contrast and to hold it all, and not only mine, but everything that I'd encountered, and all from past lifetimes till now, and to be able to put it on a table and sort it all out, and to be so enmeshed in looking for love, looking for a soulmate, looking for that twin flame, looking for something outside of me to help me, to balance me, to make everything okay. And coming to the realization that's not the truth of how it works. We incarnate alone. Spiritual. Spirit is everything. There is nothing that is missing from existence. Existence exists. Even what you cannot fully see right now still exists as potential. And so realizing and conceiving and identifying and observing this wheel of life spin and turn and land on certain things, and see that as either something that's going to detract or that's going to multiply, that's going to reward, or that's going to punish or diminish, I should say. And understanding that cycle, that rhythm of those seasons of life is really starting to manifest in a way that it hasn't before. And like I said, I am a servant of spirit, and I am here to serve in the expansion of spiritual human conscious awareness. So I'm here to assist human beings in understanding you are more than just the human conditioning of your mind. There is a aspect of you that is spiritual, that has been given to you in increments and aspects and crumbs and pieces and puzzle pieces and cells and fragments and shattered fragments. And you have not been able to meld them or merge them all together because you look at each of them as something other than you. You look at them as different pieces instead of one. The body is one. You have one body, but you have two eyes, you have three eyes, you have two lips, you have four lips. If you're a woman, you have breasts, you have a chest, you have two arms, you have two legs, but in one body. So you have hands, you have 10 fingers. We have to understand what the whole is. We've been so concentrated on each individual aspect as a separate entity doing its own thing. Each finger and the thumb has its own metaphysical meaning. The baby finger, it has its own symbology. Right hand or left hand differs. The hand has its own symbology. The arm. We have all these different variables and multiples, and each cell that forms tissue, that forms organs, the heart, the lungs, the kidney, the liver, the different skeletal system, all of these different systems, but one body. And yet we're still dying from lack of knowledge of ourselves. And why is that? What Spirit is telling me is that we're only looking at the physical aspects and we're leaving out the spiritual aspects. And if you're going to go into a field and they want me to highlight that word field, if you're going to go into a field of knowledge, a field of wisdom, then you must include everything that is within that field, seen and unseen, from the magnetism to the sun rays to the ultraviolet lights to the gravitation to that person's grasp and hormones and emotions and thoughts. You have to look at the complete being, and you have to look at that being's existence as one, and that is in harmony with everything else, or in disharmony with everything else. Everything is very segregated, segmented, and we think that we're so intelligent, but we are lacking very much in universal mathematics. We're lacking very much in the understanding of spiritual geometry and geomancy, whatever that is, that wanted to come through. But it is what it is. And beloveds, this cycle of 0 to 10, 9 being the last single digit number, 9 being the amount of months that it takes for a human being to incarnate and be born healthy, the expressed amount of months. We know that with technology, children can be born earlier than that, but 9 months is the um, amount of time that is prescribed for um, a child to be in utero, to be in the womb, to be healthy, so that all of his systems and parts can come together and merge as one. In saying all of this, please let me correlate my journey. Um, my journey has been one of self discovery, self inquiry, a conscious awareness, spiritual conscious awareness has never truly been wiped out in me, no matter what I've gone through, emotionally, thoughts, physically, being raped, being molested as a child, being in foster care, being abused by my mother, physically, mentally, emotionally, being in relationships that were so unbalanced that there would be no hope for it. 16 years old with a 26-year-old man. 16-year-old Jehovah's Witness girl with a 26-year-old worldly man who was street savvy. Okay? But through all that I have gone through, my spirit has remained intact. My spirit has remained strong. My spirit has always been there, even in my darkest times. To say, you know the truth. Even when I didn't want to listen, even when I didn't want to hear that, even when I cussed that out and said, you are a lie. This world is the truth. This world that I'm living in, this is the truth. Only to realize it's not. That child in you that knew this wasn't it, that did not have the words to express it, and would get so frustrated trying to explain it to adults, to her parents, and to others. And looking at education and communication and reading as you got to know the words, Valerie. If you have the words, you can communicate this. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can have the words. But if those words don't connect with the spirit, you cannot relate or reveal what you have within yourself. It's very it's very difficult. And it's only difficult because you're racing, your mind is racing. You feel constrained by let me stop this just for a moment. Okay, sorry about that. Let me ground. I needed to plug my computer up. It needed to charge. It was running low. Let's see. Gathering up all the pieces, gathering up all the fragments to put the puzzle together, to put the pieces together, basically to see, laying it all out on the table, having that dialogue and communication with yourself about what you're observing, and letting each one of these memories, these aspects, these knowings and ways of knowing speak to you and communicate with your spirit. And knowing that you incarnated here on this planet from once a certain point in your development in the womb, when you became aware of an outside world, of the vibrations and the sounds that were outside of that heartbeat, that universal heartbeat. When you began to be immersed in the reality matrix system of this world, that's the moment you began to divest yourself of your spiritual reality before you incarnated. You began to lose the spiritual ears and spiritual eyes and the spiritual telepathic way of communication with everything, animate and inanimate. And it is only when you began to realize this is the void that you're trying to fill. This is the hunger that you're trying to feed. This is the thirst that you're trying to quench. This is the relationship that you are dying for, that your heart is always breaking over, because it does not come from another point of view or merge something that's going to merge. It comes from you, beloved. It comes from you being able to identify you. It comes from you. Your body is the bride. Your spirit is the husband. Okay? And they have to merge. They have to mate. And once they do, and it's so funny because as children we do this, to say sex. But once they do this, once they connect, the wholeness takes place. And you have that true identity of who you are, with that spirit and a flesh. And there are those that will say the spirit is female. There are those that will say the spirit is male. And the body, the flesh is male or the flesh is female. I'm here to tell you, spirit is all and everything. There's nothing that exists that it is not. So it's got a hole in the plug for everything, okay? And so you're going to drive yourself crazy, okay? Trying to say, well, this is that, and that is this, and this hole goes in there, and that hole goes, and then do. Let that be what it is. It's just another piece. It's just another aspect. It's just another word that labels and describes positive and negative, male and female, left and right, up and down, good and bad, depending on who you are, depending on what you identify, depending on what your experiences are. But spirit doesn't have all of that. Spirit is what it is. And there's nothing that it cannot merge and become one with, because it is everything. And you really have to start looking at things that way and realizing that those that are not there yet, they're searching for themselves in ideals, in philosophies, in ideologies, in images, in messages, in secret hidden societies, in open communities, in open marriages, in monogamy. What are you searching? You're searching for your spiritual self. In every form and manifestation that can be achieved, whether it's vice or virtue. You're searching for a spiritual understanding, inner standing of your spiritual identity as a being of existence, a universal being of existence. This is what the culmination of my 58 years on this earth plane, this incarnation, has gifted me. And don't just think, oh, it just dropped it in my life. Oh, here you go, Valerie. There you go, baby. Oh, no, 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 no. Valerie has had to work. Valerie has had to suffer. Valerie has had to feel her shit and everybody else's shit as a Hyoka empath, baby. It is not easy. Existence is not easy, nor was it meant to be. That's the process of getting over your egoic mind. Because the spirit is easy. It's everything. It don't have to do nothing. It don't have to believe nothing. It don't have to be nothing other than what it is. It's already authentic. It's already wise. It's already the truth. It's only the doubt, the self-doubt, that gets in the way. It's only the programming of the matrix that gets in the way. It's only the identification and the choice of, do I want to belong to the matrix, or am I the one? And that choice comes down to each and every one of us, because each and every one of us is an aspect of existence, existing, expanding conscious awareness during cycles and seasons. So that which has no beginning and ending observes itself in beginnings and endings, birth, death, and rebirth. And it knows that the multiverses of experiences that existence can have, can create, can give birth to, can destroy, and can rebuild. When we understand that we are part of that process, that it is not something outside of us or against us, our conscious awareness will expand in a way that will manifest better existence, existence outside of poverty, existence outside of polarities such as vice and virtue. You will understand that existence exists, lower high vibrations, and you will be drawn to the lessons that you need to expand your conscious awareness. And you will understand and understand and know these are lessons. And you will be able to pass on to your children. This is the way of existence. This is the wisdom of existence. This is the reason you incarnate in flesh. It's to expand your conscious awareness through the observation of your senses, both physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, and all is one. There is no separation between these things, even though there seems to be. And just like you have a body with many different moving parts that you can see, and many different moving parts inside that you can't see, the same is with the universe. The same is with everything within existence. The same as with water. You see the water, but you don't see down to the floor of the water. And you don't see the sand and the fish and the this and the that. But it's there. Just because you don't see it don't mean it's not there. Don't mean that it's not affecting the ebb and the flow of the waves, the size. Doesn't mean that it's not influencing the seashores. There's so much that we have to slow ourselves down to recognize once again as spiritual beings. We have allowed ourselves to become so technologically functional inside this flesh that we have focused only on the physical world. And there are those that are understanding of the physical and the spiritual and how to marry them and how to merge them and how to create longer cycles and how to do this and how to do that, because they bring in hybrids and generic and technologies and so and so and so and so that are also going to bring karmic seasons and cycles into play. But all of this has been well accounted for. And understand that Spirit has got this. And so even if you don't recognize yourself yet fully, spiritually, as existence, know that you will. Know that you will. Know that you will. If not in this lifetime, then the next. Know that you will. Another thing, beloveds, this birth, death, rebirth cycle and season is really heavily upon us right now. And what is being held in the balance, so to speak, is that humanity's conscious awareness has just popped, okay? And in that popping, there is an expansion and explosion that has repercussions, that creates waves. And so now these waves are within waves, are within waves, are within vibrations, are within all kinds of frequencies, and past, present, and future are colliding, and all of this. And then those who are spiritually in tune and in conscious awareness as existence are harnessing and anchoring and holding and merging and mutating and transmuting, receiving, transmitting, transforming, and transmuting. Okay, a lot of that is being felt in the physical body as tiredness, as not being able to rest, as not being able to sleep, this constant feeling that there's something I got to do. There's something I didn't do. There's something I got to do. There's something. Or I didn't do that. Or I got to finish this. Or that has to be done. That's the urgency. That's in pregnancy terms. I think it's called nesting. The nesting phase. We're in this phase where we got to do this. We got to prepare this because there's a baby coming. That baby is us. That baby is our new conscious spiritual awareness. And we know that it's going to be newborn. And it's going to require a lot from us. And we're going to have to be leaders and role models and parents. We're going to have to be mature. And we're all doing this on the fly because nobody has taught us how to do it. Oh, there are many scriptures and records and oral traditions and songs and pictures and memories and da-da-da-da-da-da about existence existing. But to truly sit here and weave and sew it all together and manifest it in the proper cycles and seasons, that's where we are right now. And beloveds, no one has all the answers. We are all at different stages, different degrees, different abilities, different scales and balances of what we can hold, different and divergent in the way that we are here to serve each other, to serve existence. I am serving existence. I am a servant of existence. I am a master student, servant of existence. That is who I am. I am that. And I am awakening to myself. As the old folks used to say, I'm smelling myself. You know, when a baby starts smelling its poop, you know it's time. It won't be long till you're out of these diapers, because you ain't gonna want to be smelling it. You gonna want to go to the bathroom. You ain't gonna want to be having this on you anymore. It's a development. You want to be not wanting to be carried. You're gonna want to stand. It's a hunger. It's a thirst. It's a need. And you've got to do it. And it's in you to do it. And it's going to get done. So be gentle with yourselves. Be easy with yourselves. And understand that Some of us are so much more complex in the way that we exist with our thinking and feeling that our lessons and our suffering has to be in such a way that it rattles and intunes us from the seen to the unseen until those wires connect. Okay? It's just like when you hot wire in the car. You don't know the right wires to connect, to spark each other. You ain't going nowhere. Ain't nothing happening. So understand that you are learning how to hotwire yourself, hotwire your Merkaba, your vehicle, your vessel, to get it going spiritually. Because once it goes spiritually, it don't need no gas. Okay? So you're going into the next phase. Just like we're getting ready to leave fossil fuel and go into different, newer ways of energy forms and formations and using them. It's the same thing. So I'm saying all of this to say, beloveds, it has been such a wonderful journey to get here. And the realization of self, the identity of self, the understanding that the validation and confirmation of what you know, what you knew, even as a child, before you had the words, has that time and this time has come back. And there's nothing different from when you were that child and you communicated telepathically with the atmosphere, with the earth, with the universe itself. And you brung yourself into being through your parents. And you're here now and you recognize I am existence, existing in a manifested, material, spiritual world, kingdom. And its atmosphere of heaven or hell depends upon my conscious awareness and my ability to expand that conscious awareness based upon my identity and what and how I identify myself. If I identify myself as a victim, I will be victimized. If I identify myself as a hero, I will be able to help. I will be able to be of service. If I identify as useless, I will be useless. And I will be in the way of progress until I identify in a higher vibration, in a higher understanding of my true nature, my true self, which is spiritual, which has no shape, form, color, sex, but expresses itself in everything that exists. And this body allows me to move and to do and to feel and to know in a physical reality, which is less denser than the spiritual reality. So this is just confirmation. But this is the lesser. This is not the greater. But I qualified for this lesson, and I'm here to learn it. And I'm here to teach it. And I'm here to share it. And I'm here to give it. And I'm here to receive it. And I'm here to transform it. And I'm here to transmute it. So what does that make me? It makes me a spiritual womb, a cell of spirit on the earth, a container, if you will, that is able to replicate and manifest from its own image and knowledge and self-identification. And when that has identified itself to every culture, every point in reference of time that we have at this moment, it has always been what it is. Because it doesn't have a beginning or an ending, and it is all seeing and all knowing. And that is who we are. But we don't trust that because that is torn away from us, and we are enslaved into the doctrination of producing what? Fuel, energy for this world, be it suffering, be it tools of healing. The polarities, the frequencies, the vibrations are unlimited because we are unlimited. But we must get back that self-knowledge. And if this video has intrigued you in any kind of way, I invite you to listen to the video before this one. I can't think of the name of it right offhand, but you can look at it. It'll be before the date before this one. And it will keep you updated. How I'm going to end this is the Medicine Woman Inner Guidebook. I wanted to pull a card today, and I did. The card pulled is number 10. And it is the Wheel of Fortune in every other tarot deck. But in the Medicine Woman tarot deck, it is harvest. It is harvest. And I just now saw this, but everything, the gold rising up into a spirit being with different arms. The sun is there, the stars are there, and at the bottom of it, as it kind of cornucopias out, you see all the fruits, all the culminations, all the things that it has grown from, and everything that is feeding it and allowing it to grow up and to spread its arms out towards that sun. And this is the harvest. And it came down as a seed, and now the sun is harvesting it. Woo, that was deep. The sun is harvesting it. The sun is harvesting us. We are the sun's rays, and we are being harvested. Wow, that's deep. Okay. Let me go back to this. And beloveds, I'm just going to read it because it just gives you basically everything that I've said, but in a much more in-depth, concise, more beautiful way, because Carol Bridges just writes and expresses so well from a medicine woman's point of view, and that's spirit medicine, beloveds. That's feminine, divine, spirit medicine of the earth mother. This is what I'm getting ready to share with you. Number and meaning 10, manifestation. Traditional name, Wheel of Fortune. Medicine woman energy, the season's harvest. Affirmation, all that I have allowed to dwell in my imagination has become true. Through my words and actions, the Creator is embodied in me. I gratefully accept the harvest of my creation. The card speaks. You have heard it spoken. The word has become flesh and dwells among us. The words you have kept in your mind for good or evil have come into material form. The images you have dwelled on have become real. That which you have imagined in has come into actual being. In the beginning was the word you held in your mind, spoke through your mouth, and now the son of that word is here. Again, like I said, this just hit me. The son of that word is here, being harvested for the harvest, for the sun to harvest back unto itself. You did. Whew. Okay. Let me keep going. In the beginning was the word you held in your mind, spoke through your mouth, and now the son of that word is here. The word is embodied in your flesh. Whatsoever you have sown, so will you reap. That time is now. I am the wheel of life, the turning of the seeds you have sown. You may count on me to bring good luck if you have listened and followed levels, the cards 0 through 9. I am the law of karma. You have put your energy out into the world in certain ways. These include thoughts as well as actions, and now whatever you have given returns. This is the rhythm of life. This is the rhythm of emotion. Anger begets anger. Joy begets joy. One cycle is completed. You have now experienced in fullness a certain aspect of your life. If you have done your inner work, a desire has been realized. A new step in your spiritual journey will unfold before you now. You began the wheel of fortune spinning when you took a gamble as the fool. You stepped into new territory. You tried using your present personality and environment in some new ways as the magician. As the high priestess, you began to see yourself a casual force. Then, as empress, you looked with love upon the person full of potential that you are. As emperor, you began to make a structure to put that potential to work. That's deep. As emperor, you began to make a structure to put that potential to work. Listening to the voice within the Hierophant, you figured out just how to interface with the world. That's that World Wide Web. How to interface with the world by listening to the voice within. In the beginning was the word. You figured out just how to interface with the world. Working together, you became lovers with your inner world, bringing it into outer manifestation. In the chariot, you experienced your accomplishment. Then you built up your inner strength until you could stand alone and steady as the hermit, lighting the way for others who follow. This is the turning of the wheel of tarot. I bring you the results of this whole energy cycle. Your task now is to accept, rejoice, Be glad in what is and go on. Just as the gambler might have a drink to the game after a round of cards, whether he won or lost, celebrate now. Just because you have come this far, give a toast to the flow. Shake hands with your friends for a game well played. As a medicine woman, you understand now that the seeds you gave to the wind through your nurturing have grown into the food that nourishes yourself. You have used the tools at hand, seeking vision from within as to how to take these everyday things and make them work for you. You looked and listened to Earth, your environment. You took command of your resources. You carried in your heart the vibration of peace, seeking the good of the whole. Through your loving action, you found a great spirit, which then flowed through you as you moved through the challenges you encountered. Your imagining power of mind, like a strong horse, carried you through the strongest opposition. In your wisdom, you called on the healing forces, and guidance came to you. Now you rest. This is the way of the medicine woman, cards 0 through 10. This is the journey of the medicine wheel. Now, beloveds, I'm just going to again say, the birthing and death and rebirthing of myself that has taken place in these 58 years, which has really manifested itself to be observed, I would say, within the last 25 or 20, the last, I'd say the last 30 years. Because in the last 30 years, I became something, a whole new breed of animal. Okay. I had different, as a child, I had a hawk that communicated with me often. In my early 30s, a white wolf came to me, and that began my journey. That began my journey of seeing beyond sight, sight beyond sight, of seeing from the spiritual point of view again. And opening that chapter back up, that which had been closed from infancy on to, I'd say, my conditioning and training as a Jehovah's Witness, from just my mother and father and others. You know, you don't tell that, be quiet, you don't talk about that, keep that to yourself, you know. And so, and that's not real, Valerie. You're in this is the world you have to deal with. Be fully present here. I don't want to be fully present here. I don't want to. This isn't real. You know, this hurts. This is not love. Y'all don't, this ain't right. But this, how do you have the words, you know, to sit there and tell somebody this? You have a GED. You come from migrant parents. Your mother finished the 10th grade. Your father had a 3rd grade education. And so, and all of that has diminished your identity, not only as a human being, but as a spiritual being. It has always shown you in a lesser light. But now, upon entering this lion's gate, This last Lionsgate did it for me. It just blew me all the way open. Okay. And everything that was blocked or that I was not allowing to flow or was not able to receive and transmit and transform and transmute, now it is like, oh, okay, like a baby learning how to breastfeed, who before was chewing on the nipple and didn't know how to latch on right and all of this and all of that. But now it's like, okay, I got it, give me the milk. And you getting straight up milk, mama's milk, and your body knows what to do with it. Don't nobody have to tell you how to suck and stop when you get full and all of this kind of stuff. You there's a satisfaction that comes from just the attachment, from the knowing that it's there, from the being able to smell it, sense it, know it, and know that you're not separate from it, and that it's there, and that you're not going to starve and hunger for it, or it's not going to abandon you or leave you or die. This is what being the new birth is all about. This is the understanding. This is the new wisdom. I don't want to say religion, but this is the new conscious awareness that needs to go forward in expanding our identities as spiritual beings. That everything is here. The universe exists as existence. And everybody is equal in its grasp, in its ability to attach and nurse. And nobody is going to get more than somebody else. And nobody is preferred over anybody else. And it's not going to run out ever. So there's no need to compete. And there's no need to compare. Because we're all different. We're all going to get something different because Spirit is able to do that. From that same so-called breast, we're all fed and nurtured and nourished. That is the mother's nature. And that is what we have to reclaim. Let me keep going. Self-questioning. Do I allow myself to rest after my cycle of work? Do I accept what I have done after I have done it? Or do I use this time to criticize myself? Exercise. Make a wheel of fortune by drawing a circle, dividing it into the major areas of your life, such as health, relationships, work, spirituality, enjoyment, or whatever categories you prefer to use. Then find magazine photos or draw on those images of things you would like to see happen through you in the next 6 months of time. Note that I said through you, not to you. Put the wheel of fortune where you will notice it every day. The images will implant in your subconscious and seemingly without effort being to draw you into situations and learning which will bring about the results you have imagined. And beloveds, I'm going to share with you, imagined is imaged dash in, IMAGED dash IN. I made in. I'm aged in. Wow, there are a lot of words in that word, imagined. Meditation. Imagine that you are sitting before a large wheel of fortune. Give it a spin and see if the jackpot is yours today. If you are off the mark, ask, what is interfering with your good luck? Visualization. In your easy and relaxed way, begin to daydream of all the good, fortunate things you have wished for and received. Make your images clear, detailed, and colorful. Let yourself see how much you have harvested. See the support you have been given by various people's own lives. Allow the richness of your resources to become clear. And beloveds, that is so powerful right there. Everything you have encountered in your life, past, present, future, whether you deem them as good, bad, or neutral, these are resources for you to draw from. They are lessons, they're wells, mountains of gold for you to dig, diamonds for you to find. I mean, everything is there. And each resource, each person, place, or thing is richly encoded for you to find your revelations in. Allow the richness of your resources to become clear. Then give the mental command that your ability to draw to yourself the things, people, situations you desire is increasing daily, and that your desires are ever constantly aligning with the greatest good for all. Enjoy. Astrological sign Jupiter. Food. If you were wise enough to plant a garden, now is your time to reap the harvest. Prepare a feast of foods you have nurtured in love and feel the warmth and energy they return to you. Colors. Violet is the ray that clears old karma. It has been called the cosmic eraser. Whether you wear it or meditate on it, its action is to clean out the molasses of confused thinking and limited belief and make space in your body cells to hold the light. The violet flame, that is Saint Germain, that is the amethyst crystal, that is the ultraviolet rays of the sun that are so prevalent right now in this cycle and season. I'm going to read that again just so you understand how these spectrums and these frequencies of the spiritual realm work. We were told that um, this system would be cleansed or removed, or the end would come through fire, unlike the flood that happened before, which was water. This would be a flame. So we're being told about a violet flame right now. Okay? And that's why so much about fire has been coming up for me. Dragons and fire and fire beings and the essence of fire and what fire does, the phoenix, the ashes, the fire itself, the purification and the cleansing that it does. Um, Let me just give this to you again. And I want you to think the color violet, beloved, comes about when you mix the red fire with the blue fire. And remember how this said the sun? You're having the son or the child from the mergings of the two. So from the red and the blue come the violet or the purple or the indigo, however you want to call that spectrum. Violet is the ray. Violet is also the third eye chakra, crown, crown chakra. Violet is the ray that clears old karma. It has been called the cosmic eraser. Whether you wear it or meditate on it, its action is to clean out the molasses of confused thinking and limiting beliefs and make space in your body cells to hold the light. The medicine wheel. There are medicine wheels of various kinds in every ancient tradition. Though they may be laid out in stone or known only inward, the sacred circles teach the laws of life. A wheel turns. What you place at one point comes back to you later. The wheel of fortune, as we know it in the games of chance, seems to bring us unexpected good fortune or loss. Beloved, what is coming up to me is a post that I posted on Facebook about the clocks being right, a broken clock being right at least twice a day. But the truth is, the wheel of fortune as we know it in the games of chance seems to bring us unexpected good fortune or loss. But the truth is, though it may be unexpected, it is not entirely unpredictable. It is just that usually by the time the results come in, we have long since forgotten our initial output and its connection to those results. Like I said, the child that was born new in the womb has memories, has so many memories of looking at this world and knowing that some ain't right, of communicating this as best she could to everybody and everybody giving her their version of how to exist in this world as a human being, as a good human being. And the culmination is now at 58 being able to step back and observe all of this from a much more on a from a conscious awareness that is not only expanding but is expandable. Okay, the Medicine Woman Inner Guidebook works with the four power wheels. Four powers medicine wheel, a multi-level circle of physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual energies that flow through you strongly in particular times of the year. In the north direction, the wheel is at winter. And that's so funny because I just posted something about the Game of Thrones, and we know the lands of the Game of Thrones, and winter is upon us, and winter is coming, and blah, 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 blah. And winter, we're being told, is north. And north is usually where you start on a compass or a wheel that goes in cycles and circles, and it'll always come back to the north as you spin it, even if it's counterclockwise. Okay. In the north direction, the wheel is at winter, a time that quite naturally turns your focus to how well you have prepared yourself materially for winter weather. Is your home secure? Your wood in your car battery charged? Is there food stored for the long cold season? Even if you do not live in a cold climate or have to provide your own food and heat from your direct manual labor, these urges are primal. There are still preparations to make for the outgrowth of spring if you want to have the greatest sense of renewal when that season arrives. And that goes to what I was saying as about we're so hungry and so thirsty, and we think it most times it's for relationships because that's how we have been programmed. But it's for these things that we are have these urges because these are primal urges, and we have just focused on no, I need a relationship to get this, to do this, to be this, because those are the images that I see on TV, and that's what everybody says. But here we go, beloveds. In the east, spring rises. It is the energy of dawn, of inspiration, hope, excitement, new adventure. It is a sexual time, a creative time, an uplifting, renewing, spiritually exciting time. Your energy quite naturally goes outward to new pursuits, new people. You want to plant whether you plant seeds for flowers, food, or future fun. The whole earth is saying now is the time. That is so true, especially for me, born May the 1st. So I just, it's just awesome, the energy influx at that time. In the South, summer is upon us. This is when your garden flourishes. Every seed you have planted emotionally, your wishes and desires must be carefully watered by a clear mind. You are to weed your mind of thoughts that interfere with growth and maturity of those things you start in spring. No abandoning ship here unless you want to lose the harvest. It is a time for sorting out, planning, and developing. You carry toward maturity those things you begin in your spring inspiration stage. And beloved, this takes me back to the ancients and the elders who were into agriculture and into the, what is it called? Something in gathering, seeding and gathering, or whatever that is, foraging and gathering. All of this is about the cycles and the seeds, cycles and seasons. It is about the patience. It is about knowing that each thing is connected to the other thing, and it is about laying it out in a pattern, knowing that it's going to produce if you lay it out right. You've got to plant the seed at a certain, you got to hold the earth, take the rocks out, weed it, get it right. You got to get the land, the earth right to receive the seed. Then you've got to plant the seed. You can't plant it too deep or too shallow. You've got to plant it just right. You've got to plant it in certain space to the next seed. And there's so much that goes into this, that has been written down, that has been orally passed down, that is intuitive. And we've gotten away from it because we've gotten away from the natural order of things. And it's when we leave the natural order that we get into imbalance. Fall at the west gate of the wheel will show you what you have done. Your labors will bear fruit, and that which needs to be put to rest will be destroyed. Fall will find you fine-tuning your relationships and getting ready for a long, cozy winter. If you understand that, the wheel asks you to prepare for the time forthcoming. If you pay no attention to the cycles and seasons of life and the energies they call into play, you will be constantly surprised and not always happy with what Lady Luck brings you. Find your place on the wheel and attend to energies it is calling for you now. And so that is a very powerful message for us to receive right now, beloveds. That is a very powerful message. And I want you to really look at this card and see and understand harvest and receiving. Because when you're harvesting, you're receiving something. Okay, you're getting something from the work you've put in. And so that is basically what this video is, what my sharing has been from all these times. I've shared my ups and downs, my round and rounds, whether it be my longing for romantic relationships or whatever, with different beings of existence, different, how can I say this? Spirit. The only way it's coming is different lessons that I needed to learn, that would teach me to look within, because what I was hungering for and what I was thirsting for was was not sexual, and I knew this. Although in my past I have given into um, that exchange in order to get what I get the comfort, get some of what I was hungering for met, but it always left me unsatisfied because it was never what I wanted, what I needed, what I was really hungering or craving. It was not a sexual relationship. It was not a romantic relationship. It was self knowledge. And nobody can give that to you but you. Many people can show you, and you can observe yourself through the lens of how you react and what you want from this person and what you get and how that makes you act and who you become and all of this. Does it satisfy you or does it make you greedy for more? Or what are you truly getting? And this is the self inquiry. This is that journey within. And everything that I have been sharing with you has been a journal of that, from my poetry to the music to the art to the long Wikipedia posts to everything that I have been sharing. And I've arrived through the gateway now of where I need to be in order to freely serve others, because I feel before I could fully, this is just me. Other people, there are many wounded healers, don't get me wrong. But, and I've been that wounded healer. But I'm now, and I probably will always be that wounded healer, but I am an old wounded healer. Okay? And by saying that, I have matured. My wounds have been healed. My wounds have been healed. They have been recognized. They have been realized. And I know how to latch on now to universal knowledge and celestial vibrations and to listen to the guidance of my guides in order to heal, in order to get that nurturing, in order to get that milk, in order to consume what I need to consume, in order to digest what I need to digest, in order to express what I need to express, in order to relate to what I need to relate to, and in order to release what I need to release. And so this is a new beginning for me. I am a new being. These are new times for me. And this is, like I said, a time where I am able to observe from it's almost back to the place where I incarnated from. So it's very deep, and that's being shown to me, and I'm reaching out and I'm embracing that back to me, and I'm putting that back in me. If you could see that as a sun, and it being no, Valerie, no, 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 you know, no, you use a light bulb, you use this, use a candle, use something else. No, that's not real. That no, this is what you have. This is what you okay. And now it's like, I knew it. Give me my son. Bring it back. And so it's a very good time, beloved. That's what I wanted to share. So don't let all the things that you see falling apart, falling away, conflicting and at war with each other. Don't worry about those things. Those are just many things that are they're eating each other up because they don't have a singular identity. And each of them are fighting over an imaginary position, an imaginary power, an imaginary frequency that is theirs, that doesn't exist. So know what you're seeing, know who you are, be who you are, and observe so that that awareness can expand, because you're never done expanding your conscious awareness. You never know it all. So keep receiving, keep transforming what you receive, keep transmitting. Even if you're just transmitting peace, be such a good communicator of peace, baby. Here, I'm not going to argue, I'm not going to fight. Peace. That's it. And let that radiate from you. And whatever comes at you trying to block that radiate, shine even brighter. Go even deeper into your peace. And that peace is knowing who you are and knowing that you're being tested. Just so you can be brighter, because it's necessary. And there's a Mary Ann Williamson. What all began on this journey of really understanding myself and knowing myself, and when I first, a therapist, sexual assault therapist, her name was Pam Radosin, and she said, you will like this. And she read it to me, and then she had printed it off and she gave it to me. And it was accredited to Nelson Mandela, but it is Mary Ann Williamson's words. And they called to my soul. They spoke to my spirit. And I printed it out and I began passing it out at work and on corners. And everybody that received it was like, oh my God, thank you, thank you. And I put it on my Facebook page and I've shared it so many different times, beloveds. But who are you not to be as beautiful as you are? Who are you not to be the gorgeous goddess, God, spiritual being that you are? Don't let the fear stop you. Don't let other people's fears get heaped on you and block your ability to radiate, to be that sun ray. And that's going to do it for me this time, beloveds. And I hope this finds you uplifted. And I hope it helps to uplift you. And I hope you are nourished and nurtured by it and return to it as many times as you need. Please pass it along to those who need it, either this video or through your own words. Spoken word is what it is. In the beginning was the Word was God, and it belonged to nobody. It belonged only unto itself. So it is what it is, beloveds. Thank you for listening.